You step into a forest 40,000 years ago. The trees are dark, the ground is wet, and something is listening. Not watching. Listening. One dry twig under your heel can erase your future. Because in that world, sound was not just sound. Sound was a location. Sound was a confession. Sound was you telling every hungry thing exactly where dinner was standing. Most people imagine ancient humans walking quietly because they were naturally primitive. Bare feet, sharp senses, mystical forest powers, done. But that answer is too easy. Ancient people were not born silent. They had to be taught by a teacher that never forgave mistakes. The forest. The first lesson was brutal. Your body is loud. Your heel hits the ground like a tiny drum. Your knees lock. Your shoulders sway. Your breath changes, and your clothing brushes leaves. Even your impatience makes noise. Modern walking is basically controlled falling with confidence. We drop our weight forward and trust the floor to be flat. But the forest is not a floor. It is a trap made of sticks, roots, hollow leaves, and gossiping birds. So the ancient solution was not to move like a ghost. It was to stop moving like a modern person. Researchers studying walking have shown that foot impact changes with gait. A hard heel-first step creates a sharper collision with the ground. Changing the foot strike can reduce that impact. That matters because a quiet step is not magic. It is physics with fear attached. A hunter wants the ground to receive weight slowly. First, the foot tests the surface. Then the body follows only if the surface agrees. The toes become scouts. The sole becomes an information system. A soft shoe, moccasin, or barefoot does something a thick boot cannot do. It lets the ground talk back before the full weight arrives. This is where the story gets strange. Silence began in the foot, but it ended in the mind. In the Kalahari, skilled trackers can read tiny marks most people would ignore. A bent blade of grass. A cracked crust of sand. A print that is already half gone. Researchers who worked with these trackers found something important. Tracking was not just looking. It was thinking. The tracker built a hypothesis with every sign. Which animal passed here? How fast it moved? Whether it was tired, frightened, injured, or still calm. And once you can read the animal, you learn the second lesson. Every creature writes with its body. You do too. If your body writes panic into the leaves, the forest reads it. But silent walking was not always about sneaking up for one perfect spear throw. That is another modern fantasy. Some hunts were noisy, social, and exhausting. Some involved tracking for hours across open land. Some probably failed before lunch and became an ancient version of a bad workday. But quiet movement still mattered. It mattered when approaching animals. It mattered when avoiding predators. It mattered when returning to camp at night. It mattered when children learned where not to place their feet. Silence was not a ninja trick. Silence was a social technology. It let a group move together without turning the forest into an alarm system. And children probably learned it the same way children learn danger everywhere. Not from a lecture, from being corrected. A child steps on a branch. An adult freezes. Everyone listens. A bird alarm call erupts nearby. The animal they were following disappears. Nobody needs a PowerPoint. The lesson has already entered the nervous system. Next time, the child looks down before stepping. Then farther ahead. Then at the branches overhead. Then at the silence after the birds stop calling. This is how attention becomes culture. One mistake at a time. Now compare that with you. You walk across a parking lot wearing thick shoes. Your ears are full of music. Your eyes are on a phone. The ground could be screaming and you would miss it. Modern life did not make you worse. It made your environment too forgiving. Floors do not punish clumsy feet. Sidewalks do not warn deer. Elevators do not care if your breathing is loud. So your ancient attention system goes unemployed. And when you finally enter a forest, something feels weirdly personal. The place is not quiet. You are just no longer fluent. The forest has layers of sound. Wind, insects, water, leaves, and nervous birds. A skilled mover did not try to erase every sound. That would be impossible. Instead, they learned when a sound belonged and when it did not. A footstep under wind may disappear. A footstep in dead stillness becomes an announcement. This is why slowness mattered. Not the fake dramatic slowness from movies. Real slowness. The kind where the body waits for the world to open a door. Step. Pause. Listen. Then step again. The twist is that silent walking was never really about silence. It was about permission. The forest was asking questions every second. Is that animal dangerous? Is it calm? Is it chasing? Is it being chased? Ancient people survived by answering those questions before the forest answered for them. That is why tracking may be one of humanity's oldest forms of science. You observe, you predict, you test your prediction with the next sign. Then the world tells you whether you were wrong. Maybe this is what we lost. Not just the skill of walking quietly, the deeper skill of letting the world interrupt us. Ancient people did not conquer the forest by overpowering it. They entered it like students. Every twig was a warning. Every footprint was a sentence. Every sudden silence was a headline. The next time you walk under trees, try this. Do not ask how quiet the forest is. Ask how loud you have become. And if you heard one snap behind you in the dark, would you know what made it?